Think the hottest smell is off my boots. Should've kicked in more faces while it lasted.
You talk about violence very casually.
I'm a casual girl. You and me against the galaxy. Just sweat, blasters, and good times.
You shoot high, I'll shoot low.
That's the spirit. Let's get moving. So we're clear. Imperial rations are nasty. And I lived on grubs and 2-credit wine for a year. They raise you on those things. No wonder you're a bunch of stiffs.
I'll request more variety in our supplies next time.
Not even a smile. Here's what I don't get. You got a little brass, you got a little style. You're not totally one of them. But you still play keeper's pet. Shoot all the right people when you could work for... whoever.
I get to lie, cheat, and murder. Legally. And for profit.
I'll give you that, but you could do better. Me? I'm in long enough to lay low, pick up some cash, sort out some personal stuff you guys can help with. Then I'm gone.
What sort of personal stuff?
Made a deal with your bosses when I came on board. Nothing you need to worry about. Now let's get back to it before the world misses us.
Said you wanted to talk.
What? Oh, yeah, sorry. No idea what I was gonna say. Been distracted. Thinking about home.
You never told me where you come from.
Red dirt ball of a planet way out near the unknown regions. Life was miserable on Ratatak. Backwards people living in caves. Big on tribal blood feuds. Almost got stoned to death when I was 12. That's when I knew I had to get out.
You're going to have to explain that. When you say stoned...
Rocks, fist size, thrown at me. My dad was from a cursed family, which is basically tribal propaganda for we want your land. Some great-grandfather of mine was a warlord. Conquer a few tribes and you're a cannibal demon of the summit.
How did your father and the others handle it?
Kept their pride, hid the loot. Not that I got anything, or I might have stuck around. I hitched a ride on a spice trafficker ship. Figured the big, civilized galaxy would have a place for me. I thought I was gonna get accepted. I had to get tough.
This spice dealer, did he help you do that?
Not him. Other friends mostly. I don't want to bore you. But it's nice talking like this. We should do it again. You smell burnt flesh? That's my fingers. Gun overheated in the last fight. So, all that one-shot kill stuff you do, where'd you learn it?
It was part of my training. I can show you exercises if you like.
Yeah, I like getting off more than a round a minute. I learned to shoot with a friend of mine. First year out of Ratatak, I was a mess. Me and Amspechel hooked up on a tramp freighter. She was running too. We stole a holdout blaster and shared it.
You said her name was Amspechel.
Twi'lek name. Think they say it easier. She had gang connections, so one time we were raiding the ship's cargo bay, planning to sell whatever we get. Turns out it was an exchange ship, syndicate stuff. We've just pried open the storage crates when we figure it out. We're dead meat, right?
With one holdout blaster, the odds weren't in your favor.
Best we can figure. I torch the place while Ampsby grabs a dockworker. Then we sit and wait for the exchange. Enforcers finally show. We blame the dockworker and say we came to stop him. Prove we're exchange material. They bought it.
What happened to the man you framed?
Oh, Ampsby shot him so he couldn't rat us out. She was fun. We ever run into her, we should get together. Time of the century. Agent, we need to talk. I just heard from headquarters. Keeper finally came through on a promise he made when I joined up.
I'm surprised you were promised anything, given the circumstances when you came aboard.
I'm an eloquent freaking negotiator. I asked you guys to find Amspechel, old friend of mine. I told you about her. We hooked up after I left Ratatak. Last time I saw her, she saved my life and got me to Hutta. I owe her big. Now she's in trouble.
You said she saved your life?
On Ord Mantell. I messed up and she covered my tracks. She crossed some exchange buddies on Nar Shaddaa. Report didn't give details, but I can guess how it went down. I'm gonna head over, kill the exchange, and save the girl. You should come with.
You want my help? You've got it. Let's go.
Good choice. And so you know, we do this right, I've got a surprise plan for us. It's most of the gang. Hey, Anne's here.
You're rescuing me? What am I, your princess?
If you were a princess, you might be worth something.
Shut up and toss me a gun. Who's your friend?
I stole Kaleo from Nemro the Hutt. We've been together ever since.
Nemro, huh? How long were you with him?
Long enough.
You guys timed it good. By the way, they were gonna hang me to broil on a holocene. You got a way off-world?
Grab your stuff and meet us at the spaceport. I can get you a ride.
You have a plan to get her off now, Shadar?
Not quite. Remember I said I had a surprise for you? There's a bounty on Anspecial. We saved her, we own her, now we're gonna sell her.
We came here to rescue her. You told me she saved your life.
She did. You want to know how? She stuffed me in a box and shipped me to Hutta. I spent 12 weeks in muck working for a chem farmer. She humiliated me. I owe her for that too.
Next time you want a favor, give me the full story first.
You don't have to do anything. I'll handle it. And you get half the money. She'll be waiting in the hangar either way. Think about it. Hey, you made it all right.
Yeah. Ran into one of Zenjo's guys. Left him a scar, but he's still breathing, so a ride sounds good right now.
Give me 20 minutes, I'll set you up. Keep her company. I'll be back soon.
I really do appreciate the help, but... Can I ask you something?
This rescue isn't what it looks like. Kaleo plans to sell you to a bounty hunter.
Right. Of course she does. She's a freak.
She said you were partners for years.
She's a habitual liar. She tell you the sob story about leaving Rat Attack, meeting me, all that. None of it's true. We hooked up a year ago, and she'd been on her own forever. I gotta go. Don't believe anything she says.
So where is she? I've got a bounty hunter waiting.
She must have wandered off. I'm sure she'll be back.
Don't you dare. You let her go. You let her go! Now she's out there and she thinks she's better than me. What were you thinking?
Need I remind you that I run this operation? You don't question my decisions.
I sure as hell do. You're gonna regret this. Remember how I was gonna sell Anspecial to a bounty hunter and you let her go? I hope it was worth it. Finally convinced the buyer we weren't trying to scam him. You and Anspe talk much when you were together? Swap stories about the old days? Gossip about me?
She said you were a habitual liar and that you'd only met in the past year.
Yeah, figures she'd say something like that. She's kinda crazy. Whole thing got me thinking, though. I've had a lot of partners over the years. Her, Nemro. Guy named Rawl used to hijack Republic supply ships. He had money, he had brass. How you think you measure up?
Depends what your friend Rawl was really like.
Bad temper, crafty, smelled, but you got used to it. Best pirate on the Rimma. Showed me a good time.
Whatever he showed you, I can show you one better.
You're trying too hard, Agent. Learn to take a joke. Hey, Agent, take a look at this.
Where is she?
I don't know. How would I know?
Kaleo Janus and her Twi'lek associate was seen attacking exchange resources on Nar Shaddaa. Should I believe you wouldn't seek revenge? I want her last known location and I want it now!
I love it. Listen to that little tremor in his voice. He's adorable.
He does say your name with fondness.
Ijel and I go way back. Soon as I show my face, he starts torturing people to track me down. He's been obsessed ever since we split up on Farstein. For an arms dealer, he's kinda sweet. Makes me feel wanted.
If you've got such a bond, why not let him find you?
Not much of a game then, is it? Of course, if he ever found me, I'd have to choose. Do I go back with a bad, nasty man? or stick with the one I have?
I'm sure you'll know what to do.
Aren't you confident? I'll keep you in the loop. Next recording gets out, we can watch it together. So here's the deal. I've been working through the list of guys and gals who might come after me. Ex-partners, hookups, the usual. I think I know everyone who's a problem. We hit them first, we clean house, I'm home free. Ready to go?
Is it really necessary to go after these people?
If we don't, they'll come after me. They'll put attention on me and your cover will be threatened. There's 4 targets. Roll my pirate, Yajal the arms dealer, Todd Teagle the card shark, and that bounty hunter who's following along. I've got locations, so all we need to do is show up and start shooting.
I'm not killing anyone until we've exhausted all options.
Fine. Whatever gets you to go. You really aren't any fun. Hey, Rawl. How's the arm?
How do you break a Wookiee's arm?
Come on, look tough. I wanted a bigger cut. You said no. We raided ships for a living. What did you think would happen? Forget that. Anyway, I've got a friend this time. Wait till you see him work.
I wasn't expecting a pirate to be so sentimental.
Oh, don't get him started. Here's where my arms dealer buddy hangs out. Follow my lead. Hey, Flunky, where's Yajal?
I'll let him know you're here.
Khalil Janus, as I live and breathe. I didn't expect to find you at my shop.
No one else has got what you've got.
So very true. Tell me, have you brought my money so I can quit paying my thugs to harass you?
The way I heard it, you were stalking her for her charms, not her credits.
That's not exactly how I put it.
She is lovely and dexterous, but I'm better off without her, as might you be. Khalil decided, after nearly a year of supplying me with product, to play a little shell game. I lost a considerable sum and nearly went to prison.
I told you to put trackers on those cannons.
I'm a businessman and I like her, so I'll call off my dogs if she recoups my losses. Otherwise, I can't leave her so pretty.
What'll it take from me to end this?
You serious?
I'll put together an invoice. There. Pay the bill and I'll never bother your friend again.
I've got the money. Here.
You're sure you want to spend it on her? I could sell you a custom disruptor rifle for 2/3 the price.
I think he made his choice.
Of course. A pleasure doing business, and a pleasure seeing you again, Khalil. You ever get back to Talifan, call me.
I can't believe you spent all that.
If no one needs to die, there's no point in killing.
Yeah, I guess. We can talk about it later. For now, we've got 2 more targets to go. So this card player, just need to get his people off my back.
Tell the Hutt I always appreciate a fan, but I don't need anyone to stake me.
Hello, Ta. Look who you found.
Khalil? Khalil, it's fantastic to see you. Who's your friend?
Bodyguard. Don't look at me.
Of course, I understand.
You want to tell me what you were thinking looking for me? Hiring investigators? Bribing dock managers?
I just wanted to find you.
You're messing with my life. A lot of people want me dead, and if you find me, a lot of other people find me too.
I didn't think I wanted you back with me. I want to share the penthouse again, and the money, and... I want you not to leave.
How long were you two a couple?
5 months. We met after a sabacc tournament. She, conned me out of half the winnings. But she came back. Didn't you?
Yeah, and look where it got me.
Why'd you leave, Khalil?
You're not asking the questions. You listen good, you worm. I'm not going to let you ruin me.
So you'll kill me instead for not giving up on you?
Walk away. This man isn't worth your time.
Blast it, I know. I was hoping he'd have security or something.
I'm sorry.
Of course you're sorry. It's why I left you, Ta. You're boring. Let's go. Hope the next target's more interesting. So according to what I got, this is the last place anyone saw our bounty hunter. The Menace. Loser wants a piece of me just because everyone else does. We'll show him what it's like to be hunted.
How do you want to handle this one?
We hang around until someone comes home, or until we get bored. Keep your gun out. Think we got something.
Cleo, you haven't changed.
Do I know you?
You should. Ona Querrit, the woman you left on Elysia, remember?
No way. You're kidding.
I take it you've met the Menace after all.
She's Senator Querrit's daughter. Rich brat. I showed her how to live.
You seduced me into leaving my father, leaving Coruscant.
You got to see new places, hang with the Black Sun. Her dad didn't even cut off her accounts.
He thought I'd been kidnapped. When you disappeared, I cried for a month. I couldn't go home. But on Alderaan, they taught me how to duel, so I became this.
You felt abandoned, so now you've decided to kill your former partner.
I won't kill her if she doesn't fight. I'll drag her back to Coruscant for trial.
I've got to say, Ona, I didn't think you had it in you.
Now you know. Put down your weapons and surrender. I'm taking you, dead or alive.
Obsessing about vengeance is pointless. You wanted to prove yourself to Cleo, and you have. Now let this go.
You can always change your mind. Track me down later.
Get out of here.
That was fantastic. I can't believe she's still alive. Come on. That's the last of the list, so we need to celebrate. Let's go down that list again. Roll, check. Ijal, check. Tatigel, check. The Menace, check. You and me, Agent, we are freaking king and queen of the galaxy.
You have had some interesting relationships.
Kind of fun seeing everyone again. Still can't believe Ono's working as a bounty hunter. She'll go far. And without Rawl, the Rim is going to be fair game for new pirates. Opportunity for everyone.
I notice you aren't mentioning Tatigel.
What's to mention? He'll be fine. Won't look for me again. Forget those losers. Forget intelligence if you want. You and me have got a future.
You can share my future. Just make sure you can keep up.
Oh, you want some competition? Make a list of your exes. See how fast I go through them. Bet your past is even uglier than mine. Hey, I'm worried your shooting's a little off. All that tech stuff weighing you down. We ever go blasters only, your kill count won't look good next to mine.
I'm going to assume that's your natural good cheer.
You assume right. No one hunting me down, no exes mooning over me. Last time I cleaned house, I was playing anarchist on Brental. Feels good to be free again.
What does a free woman do with herself?
Well, I've got a lot of options. Might be time to move on. I could go after a big score, try something other than spy games. You could come with me.
You're not bad company. And I could use a change of pace.
Yeah. You and me traveling the galaxy. Doing something. Getting into trouble. Haven't worked it out past that, but I'll let you know. So, here's what I figure. Every morning you get up, you exercise, you check your gear, you do your thing to prep. You've got flowcharts tattooed on your eyelids. Me, I'm lucky when I don't crawl out of bed drooling on the floor. How is it I keep up with you? Am I just that good, or does dirty fighting beat training after all?
I'd never argue your skills aren't impressive.
Admit it. We're a good team. You with the gimmicks and me with the rough stuff. We're not tripping over each other anymore. Took a while, but you and me, we're a synced-up death machine.
Teamwork goes a long way. Imagine if we actually practiced together.
I don't need to get that good. You want to go arms shopping together, though? Let me know.
Kalia? What's going on?
Hey, so I've been thinking, with all the stuff I've told you about my past, we ever talk about the Brental anarchists?
You've mentioned their existence and that you worked with them. No details.
Then here's a morsel for you. We were the Revolutionary Edge Brigade. So was probably me and a dozen other guys. We blew up hollow relays, robbed banks, kidnapped politicos and corporate honchos. Did a lot of damage.
You never struck me as especially political. Why'd you join the anarchists?
Kind of an accident. I started with the local gangs. Someone saw my potential. I wasn't really in it for the philosophy. Even so, there's times I look at who we work for now and, well, I never thought I'd end up helping a bunch of dictators, you know?
Sounds like you believe in what you did after all.
Maybe. Maybe not. Thing is, I'm actually pretty content. I've got money, company's decent. Even your squad's growing on me. Hypocrisy's a funny thing. See you around, Agent.
I hope I'm not prying. I overheard a bit of your conversation and couldn't help but wonder, have you noticed anything unusual about Kalio's behavior lately?
Less griping, more cheer. Other than that, no.
Interesting. I hadn't spotted that. However, I've noticed some encoded messages broadcast to and from the ship. Kalio has access to the relay, and I'm trying to assess all possibilities.
Let me know if anything happens, or if you find out more about those transmissions.
Of course. I always enjoy a puzzle.
Look, I'm sorry to dump this on you, but you're gonna need to live without me for a little while. It'll be quick, but I need time off to wrap up some personal things.
It's a little sudden, isn't it? What's going on?
Nothing big, just some private stuff.
And I was worried I'd miss your departure. Kalio, we've had our differences, but I wanted to wish you the best of luck. I'm sure the Wheezer and his Revolutionary Edge Brigade will be delighted to have you back.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm surprised that you would permit this, though. Letting Kalio see her old anarchist friends must violate any number of Imperial regulations.
If you're planning a betrayal, I swear to you.
That's not it. I wasn't going to betray you.
Then why the encoded messages sent from this ship between you and the leader of the Brental anarchists?
Look, it's not what you think. The Wheezer got in touch, said he needed help. Didn't say why, but I figure security's cracking down on the cell again.
This man leads your old anarchist group?
He's one of the guys who started it. He taught me everything.
He's hit mostly corporate targets, but Imperial assets seem fair game for the REB as well. Just less convenient.
The Wheezer was good to me, so I thought I'd lend a hand. Figured telling you would make trouble, get someone killed. If you don't trust me, come back with me and watch my back. We'll buy him off somehow. Might actually survive that way.
All you had to do was ask.
Thank you. I'll get in touch with him. One call to set up the meeting.
I'll leave you to your work.
We're all set. The Wheezer will meet us at the Hutta spaceport. Just try to make this go without a fight. I don't need to lose either of you. Remember, we're not here to make trouble. You start something, I get unhappy.
Kalio, of all the gifts you've sent to me, this is truly the finest. An agent of Imperial intelligence. How marvelous.
I don't understand what you mean.
Kalio has been selling information to the Revolutionary Edge Brigade ever since she joined the Empire.
What are you doing?
Imperial security data, spaceport blueprints, the names of powerful people, useful things. But now, she's gone beyond the call of duty.
You've been selling our secrets to anarchists.
It's not how he makes it sound. This wasn't what we agreed.
Why bother keeping it private when your associate dies anyway? He's more useful dead than alive. His hands and eyes can get us through biometric security scans.
This isn't a harvest job.
Then I apologize for misreading our agreement, but this is too promising an opportunity to pass up.
I fought the eagle in his nest. As terrorists go, you're barely worth a footnote.
Damn it, Agent.
No mercy. I'm disappointed with you, Callio. You were never a believer, but siding with the Empire?
I didn't want to pick a side. So yeah, I sold him a few secrets. He paid better than you do, and it's not like I got you in trouble.
Why did you pick a side?
He promised he'd keep our deal quiet. If you lied to me, you'd be the one dead. But look, you don't need to worry. I didn't talk about the missions. I'm not stupid. He was into bombing spaceports and raiding transports, not espionage and conspiracies.
The Empire gave you a job. It gave you protection. In return, you sold us out.
What us? I didn't sell you out. I kept you from knowing for your sake. You should know by now that I am never going to care about the Empire. Not like you do. Not at all.
All this time, I knew what you were like. But I thought we could work together. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't trust you anymore.
That's too bad. Because I haven't changed. Let's get out of here.
Do for you, Vector.
Agent, excuse us a moment. We hear the song. The nest awakens. Light fills the hive, and we are one. Apologies. It's the hour of revitalization, and as Dawn Herald, we still participate, in spirit, if not in person.
You talk about being Dawn Herald, but I don't know what that is.
Traditionally, the Dawn Herald is a warrior and emissary for the nest, one who confronts the unknown. As Herald, we are more than a typical joiner, and we retain a sense of individuality. It's also why we're useful to you.
You're physically enhanced and linked to the nest.
Yes. Ironic that we fight more now than we ever did in the Hive, except in the season of Akamaka. In any case, we still honor the Killik's gift, but surely everyone carries over rituals and habits from their lives before intelligence.
Who I was then made me who I am today, for the most part.
You should tell us about your past. When we have time, we'd like to hear it. Last night, we ate our first ration bar since leaving the nest. We savored the flavor for 2 hours. We could taste every nutrient, every chemical compound and trace of foil. Do you know what joining the Killiks does to a person's senses?
Should I be sending you on more nighttime missions?
We can't see into every spectrum or smell poison under our nose, but our eyesight has improved. That does bring up something we want to discuss. How do you see our role as operative on your team?
You're a capable partner, and I value your input.
And our skill set? Keeper described us as a covert assault agent. Our role as Dawn Herald gives us that capacity. We just don't know if that's the only reason we're here, or if it should be.
You have abilities I don't, as does your nest. We should use them.
We see. We'll give that due consideration. Thank you for your help, Agent. We hope you don't mind, but we were wondering something. Do you have a family? Siblings, a wife, people to go home to after a mission?
Not a question I was expecting, I'll confess.
We aren't trying to pry. We're just trying to understand how anyone in this job keeps a tether to the real world. None of us can exist in isolation forever.
Eventually, Violence and deceit become second nature. This becomes your real world.
Maybe it shouldn't, Agent. And maybe you should find another way before it does. Then again, we're new here. Apologies.
To talk?
Yes. The suns are warmer here. Nothing that smells so green when the gamma bursts come.
Vector, are you alright?
We must go. Auras mingle. Apologies, Agent. Emissaries from our nest. They stowed away aboard the ship and have accompanied us since we left Alderaan. They're becoming quite sociable.
There was something you wanted to discuss.
The Killiks of Alderaan know little of the galaxy, only what they absorb through joiners. Our journey teaches them a great deal, but there is something that intrigues us, intrigues the nest. The fate of our lost kin.
What lost kin?
Alderaan has only a handful of nests, sleeping beneath the castle lands and awakening every few centuries. The other Killiks migrated off-world millennia ago. No one knows what became of them, or whether they survived. But the migration is a primal memory. We miss them.
If the Citadel has any record of Killik encounters, we can find out.
We appreciate that, Agent. It may help. We don't know if it's truly important to find them. But as Dawn Herald, we'll be watching. Been dreaming lately. Great Spitcrete vessels weep dew above the castle lands. Their engines scorch the air. Dartship swarms shade the sky, humming a song of farewell. We remember the Great Migration, when the lost nests departed Alderaan.
You said no one knew what happened after the other Killiks left.
We still don't. But our travels have caused a buried memory to surface. In our dream, there is a mosaic that mirrors the stars and shows us the lost one's destination. We request leave for a pilgrimage, Agent, to follow the first steps of the migrant Killiks.
I don't see any harm in that.
It's been millennia since the migration, and we doubt we'll see more than dust or petrified shells. Still, the journey honors our kin. We're already packed.
I'll be here when you're done. Take care of yourself.
And you.
So, you made it back from your pilgrimage.
Our journey is over. We saw strange worlds and markers set in stone and frozen lakes of steamy colors, but no Killiks. The colony found planets that suited them, but none that could support them. They divided into 1,000 nests, each going its own way, to 100 different stars.
I know this isn't the end you were hoping for.
We forged a connection to the lost colony. Even if we didn't find it, this means a great deal. In any event, we're sorry. What? There is a scent here.
You're not giving up already. We apologize for surprising you, but it took time for us to become aware of your presence. More to find you. But we welcome you nonetheless. We are Daizana, of the Lesai Nest.
Maybe you should handle this.
Daizana of Lese. We are Vector Hillis, Dawn Herald of Oroboro.
Oroboro? We barely recognize the scent. We thought we'd lost the nests of Alderaan until you followed. Our fleet ship pursued you here. The colony still exists, spun across the stars. Our nests still kin. 1 trillion and more Killiks will dance and sing tonight.
Your ship followed Vector on his way back from the pilgrimage.
Even after he was gone, he left an impression we could follow. Our emissaries are not far from your own. Let them touch and bring knowledge.
Yes, the Lese shall rejoice. She offers dancing and Membrosia the chance to walk the tunnels of the Synapse Comb.
The Dawn Herald must come with us. As his partner, you may accompany and share in our joy.
I'd love to see a Killik celebration lead the way.
Don't worry. We'll be out before the pheromones bond to your system.
The ambrosia runs in golden rivers.
You're doing well. Accompany the joiners if you wish. Morning comes soon. We're impressed. You held up well. More to the point, you brought together the fragments of an ancient people. We can't fully express our gratitude. We hear the singing of 1,000 nests, and are at peace.
I know this means a great deal, but you're as much human as Killik.
We know. Today was a day for the Dawn Herald. Tomorrow may be different. Thank you for all your help. And we've had time to think since reuniting the Killik colony. Not that our work hasn't kept us busy, but we didn't actually thank you for allowing our pilgrimage. You should come with us next time.
No need to thank me. You ever need support, just say the word.
We'll try not to make you regret that offer. In any case, we should get back to work. We promised Kalia we'd keep the hatchlings away from her quarters, which means some training is in order.
The last thing we need is infighting among the crew or bugs under our pillows.
Spoken like the warrior poets of old. Let us know if anything comes up. We are ready to move when you are.
Are things, Vector?
Agent, when we communed with the other nests, we saw a force for change in the galaxy. There are Killiks as large as starships and as small as mites, joiners from 100 species on 1,000 worlds. We mean to report on the Killik colony to the diplomatic service.
The colony's been in hiding for a long time. The Killiks may not appreciate it.
We've shared thoughts with Daizana of the Lacey nest, and we've assessed the limits of their cooperation. If the service can make entreaties to the colony, if we make them an ally, we'll have a foothold in the unknown regions. We'd have access to Killik craftsmanship, joiner information. Even without their military support, they would be invaluable.
What would an Imperial Killik alliance take?
We've outlined a proposal. The Killiks want peace and resources, and the Empire can offer both. And if the Empire doesn't make allies of the Killiks, someone else may get to them first.
However I can assist, say the word.
We'd ask you to sign off on the report. Other than that, we'll keep your offer in mind. Thank you. We heard back from the diplomatic service about our proposed alliance with the Killik colony. Our report was soundly ignored. It seems we have less credibility than we thought.
You worked for them for years, and this is what you get.
We are twice compromised. No longer human, and no longer a diplomat. A colleague named Fulner Eth sent the update on our report along with a message. He wants us to call him, accompanied by our handler. We believe he means you.
You worked with him in the diplomatic service?
Not directly. Eth spent his time with ex-Republic worlds, while our speciality was first contact. We met several times at conferences and the like, but we wouldn't say we knew him. This should prove interesting.
Master Hillis, I'm so glad you got my message. How are you? How's Anya?
Anora. We haven't seen her in some time, but we hear she's well. And your son?
I'm stationed on Balmora, still hoping to join the Shadow Fist. And you must be Cypher 9. It's my privilege to meet you. Rest assured, I went through channels to arrange this. Imperial Intelligence has agreed to loan me Vector so long as you're amenable.
Tell me your proposal and I'll see what we can do.
My superiors don't see the wisdom in Vector's advice. I do. Yet I lack the authority to force the issue.
Someone is blocking you?
Tarab, Sabini, the usual crew. If I'm to win them over, I need influence. Vector, with your ties from the service and the colony's knowledge, I could amass a string of victories. And the more I succeed through your consultations, the better chance your Killik Imperial Alliance comes to pass.
We'll help your career. And you work for us.
As you say. I'll be in touch with specifics.
We appreciate your help, Agent. We'll make it worthwhile, to you, to the Empire, and to the colony. You recall we spoke to the diplomatic service about building an alliance between Empire and Killiks? Falner Eth, the man who offered his backing in return for our assistance, has asked us for his first favor.
What's our diplomat friend after?
Falner wants our notes on various families and unaligned worlds in the Questal sector. He means to bring that sector into the Empire. We worked in Questal a long while, and we knew its people well. It's odd to see someone else take the reins.
You don't talk about your old life.
We don't often have a reason to think about it. We do miss negotiating, reaching out to understand people, synthesizing their needs. Dizana of the Lesai Nest says that desire makes us a better joiner. It's only small comfort.
You haven't forgotten your training. Even as Dawn Herald, you're an ambassador.
Perhaps. But seeing men like Falner again, we think it's best if he handles negotiations. Apologies, Agent. This is something we need to think on more deeply. But we are glad you stand by us.
Wanted something, Vector?
We do not neglect our duties. We are Dawn Herald. We do this for the Nest. Agent, we've had another request from Falner Eth, our ally inside the diplomatic service. We need to take a short leave.
I heard you talking to the emissaries of the Nest. Is everything all right?
Everything's fine. The distance from our kin is unusual and causes rifts. Falner's stock is rising, but he needs further acclaim before he can push for a Killik Imperial Alliance. He's asked us to visit a former Republic governor named Yogana Thanoth and win his cooperation by turning him into a joiner.
So you're supposed to strip a man of his individuality and make him part of the Nest?
We'd hoped Falner wanted us for our diplomatic skills, not for this. The joining should be a gift, but we will find a way.
You know this isn't right. Don't do it, Vector.
We appreciate your concern. We ask that you trust our decision.
You're back. Did you find your man?
We spoke to the Republic governor. If you'll join us, we'll report the details to Falner Eth.
My friends, it's been too long.
Falner, we assume you've heard from Thanoth.
He contacted me from an Imperial transport. Apparently we promised to work with him. Not what I requested, but the service can make do.
There was no need to make him a joiner when he was amenable to discussion.
You haven't lost your touch as a diplomat, after all.
Not entirely, no.
You kept your promise. Thanoth's assistance resulted in my promotion. I will keep my promise to you. Some important people are waiting, Vector. They're very interested in a potential Killik alliance.
You arranged this?
As soon as I knew we could work together. Check the data I'm streaming to your main console.
Thank you, Falner. Excuse us a moment, Agent.
It's like talking to a bug wearing a man's skin. I don't know how you stand it.
He's a brave man and a loyal Imperial.
You can't be serious. Those creatures are anathema to everything the Empire stands for. There's no place for great men in a hive mind. Only animal instinct. I'll be relieved when you people finish this scheme and get rid of the colony for good.
Agent, they listened. They don't understand yet, but they listened. The diplomatic service has requested my aid and wants to initiate relations with the colony.
Listen, Falnaeth is keeping his deal, but he's repulsed by Kilix. We can't trust him.
He admits it? We always did get an odd sense from him. It's out of his hands now, though. We should watch him, but we'll be focused on the future. We received a small gift from the diplomatic service in appreciation of our work with the Kilix. A package of wine, meat, and breadfruit, all imported from the colony worlds. Not inexpensive, and a bit extravagant during wartime.
Check the package for listening devices. I don't need the diplomatic service spying on us.
Already done, but we'll double-check. In the meantime, you're welcome to help yourself. We may as well enjoy the taste of progress.
What do you have for me?
Encouraging news. Watch.
Dawn Herald, forgive the message, but our emissaries were out of reach and we couldn't wait to link with you. Imperial scout ships entered colony space and made contact yesterday. We traded in Membrosia, silk, and star maps. We could smell the men's fright, but they left in peace. Perhaps you were right after all.
A long way from a signed treaty, but it's a start.
You and that joiner seem to get along.
Dazana is a nestmate, and we find her insight illuminating. We're in touch with the diplomatic service as well. There's still resistance, but we're progressing. Kilix and Imperials may share space in our lifetime.
What's going on?
Agent, in our work with the diplomatic service, we find ourselves talking to people we once knew. We've been contemplating this.
Hello, Vector. It's Honora. I don't know if you remember me, but Bryson said he thought you would, and I wanted to talk to you. I know things didn't end well, but I never forgot. You need to get out of there. Come back to Drummond Cast and we'll get you help. We can undo what the Kilix did. There are still people who care about you.
We've watched it 17 times and meditated to the static.
It can be difficult to be reminded of your past.
Can it? We were nearly engaged to Honora very long ago. We never considered that there are people who want us restored to what we were. But watching this, feeling nothing, we know we're no longer who we were when we loved her.
If you could be restored, would you want it?
No. We had to know if our reaction was unnatural, but we don't think it is. We are content. It is done, Agent. We can scent the pulse of your heart. We can taste particles of solar radiation bead like dew on our lips. We have undergone the chrysalis of tranquility, and we are reborn.
You've never mentioned this chrysalis of tranquility?
The chrysalis is a ritual of the Dawn Herald. It makes us stronger, better able to face the enemies of the nest, and enhances our link to the universe. You've brought us this far, and we will fight alongside you. Have news, Agent. We've been conferring lately with the ambassadors, moffs, speakers for the Sith, all with their own agendas and concerns, none with any love for the Kilix. But we swayed a few, and found ways around others. Now the diplomatic service has agreed to seek a treaty.
An alliance with the Killick colony. It's what you've been wanting.
What we've been working toward together. Some of the nests are still reluctant, Horrow and Manam in particular, but all parties involved have agreed to a summit. We'll preside over the negotiations ourselves.
I'm at your disposal. I want this to work.
So do we. Thank you, Agent. Imagine. Colony and Imperial representatives in one room. It shall be interesting. We've been speaking to the nests in preparation for the Killick Imperial Summit. They're so much in tune with their biology. The Colossalok are warriors as large as houses, and they're convinced the Empire should be crushed. But the Saras are weavers and shapers, and they're eager to trade.
You're all one species, aren't you? How can that much biological diversity be possible?
From the beginning, there was the joining, and that links us even as our bodies evolve over millennia. Of course, that's just what our memories tell us. The colony has never specialized in scientific research. We should return to our preparations. We'll talk later.
Cypher, I've finished unpacking the last of my equipment. Between your ship's onboard systems and my custom apparatus, you'll soon have the finest in-flight laboratory in the sector.
You'll make us the envy of the fleet.
Then I'll refrain from publicizing it. Officially, of course, I'm in semi-retirement, monitoring background radiation somewhere in the Zetan wastes. Unofficially, I'm very much looking forward to traveling with you.
Understood, Doctor. I've never been to the Zetan wastes, and we have never met.
An excellent start. I expect this should prove very interesting. Should you need anything from me, you only have to ask. Although if you want my genetic code rewritten, let me know before we leave the ship.
I thought you could become a rack ghoul whenever you wanted.
It's somewhat more complicated and time-consuming. Well, nothing to be concerned with, but rarely an option in the field. Good day. Cypher, join us. Vector and I were just discussing Moff Letshara.
We'd never met her, of course.
Quite fortunate, that. But Vector did know her husband, a fine Dejarik player and a scribe of the Ilfmar Gambit.
We apparently share the Doctor's taste in theatre.
By all means, continue.
I wouldn't want to take your time, but Master Vector, we should talk again.
Of course, Doctor.
Your crew members are delightful people. For instance, did you know Mistress Kaleo is fluent in Kalish profanities? A rare and admirable skill. I wonder how you manage them. Leadership is such a delicate thing.
You sound like you've thought about this.
I confess it had crossed my mind. A dead or alienated colleague is a resource lost, and in our business, it's a small step from being disliked to being blacklisted.
Alienate enough people and you find yourself running unauthorized missions on a dead planet.
Quite. I could tell you stories. But I'm afraid I have to attend to my data analysis program. Another time, Cypher. My good friend, allow an old man some sentiment and join me for a reminiscence. Today is the 13th anniversary of the death of Cypher 12, one of the finest agents I've ever worked with.
You have my sympathies, Doctor.
No need for that. It has been 30 years. But I like to pay my respects. Cypher 12 was one of the old guard from before the war. He cultivated allies on the fringes. By the time he received his Mandalorian brands, he'd also become verbally abusive in private, but he never cracked on the job. Always had a smile.
If he was so capable, what happened to him?
Eventually the odds caught up with him, and a Hapani royal assassin punctured his lungs. Inevitable, really. Are you aware how few ciphers have passed year 5?
Of all the things that go wrong in this job, dying isn't so bad. Failure, though.
Rather my point. I admire the line you walk between obedience and ingenuity. Unfortunately, your methods breed enemies. Be careful not to end up without recourse.
There's some truth there, I'll admit. We'll see what happens.
Friendly advice from one who knows. I've made it through a very long career by choosing my partners wisely. I've outlasted them all, and I intend to keep doing so. Cypher, I had the most delightful conversation with Master Vector. Did you... I'm getting a feed on my earpiece. One moment. I apologize. That's the 3rd time this week one of my security alarms has gone off.
Where did you set up an alarm system?
I monitor all my safe houses as a matter of course. I have a few dozen around the galaxy. A precaution, really. I haven't needed them in years. Usually when an alarm goes off, it means a child has come exploring, or a rat has slipped through the ventilation shafts.
You've got havens set up. What's in them?
You know the sort. An abandoned building here, a fortified wine cellar there, stocked with necessities of the trade. Most of them aren't on the official books, but I assure you, they're hardly incriminating.
Remind me not to underestimate you, Doctor. If we ever need a sanctuary...
You'll have whatever humble aid I can provide.
Doctor, you wanted to talk.
Yes, and I'm terribly sorry to take your time, but I have a small request. To be frank, it's a bit of an embarrassment.
You have my undivided attention.
I told you before about my safe houses, how my intruder alarms have been going off. Well, I attributed it to local happenstance. I may have been mistaken. My safe house on Balmora exploded.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
Very much, but my scanners melted 0.7 milliseconds after activation. I could theorize regarding who did this and why, but truthfully, all I know is someone bypassed Imperial security to get inside. I'll need to see the safe house in person. I'll return as soon as I can.
You could be walking into a trap. Stay alert, Doctor.
And you. Well, I'm afraid the news is mixed. My safe house did, indeed, burn to the ground, along with 3 would-be assassins who were attempting to wire it with explosives. Apparently, my security triggered their bombs prematurely.
Do you booby-trap all your safe houses? Or just the ones your enemies know about?
You make it sound like I used safe houses as bait. I did acquire genetic samples of the intruders. I'll be running traces shortly. One was a human male. The others, uncertain. Regardless, they used Imperial equipment and codes to get inside. Someone in the Empire wants me dead.
This could be a frame job. It wouldn't be hard to arrange.
A wise assertion, although the particulars suggest otherwise. One way or the other, I take comfort in the fact that I'm once again viewed as a threat. My days in retirement are over.
I do for you, Doctor.
Forgive me, but as your sole medical officer, I have to point out that your eating habits have been less than satisfactory lately. Now, I'll take my share of the blame. I've been preoccupied making calls, catching up on what I've missed in the intelligence community. Still, the fact that people are trying to kill me does not excuse my neglect of your health.
I appreciate your concern, but you've done a fine job,
says the child to the unstrict parent. But regarding my search, I do have some small amount of news. I've identified one of the assassins as an operative for Colonel Langor, a man with ties to the Imperial Science Bureau. The Bureau is also the likely origin of the other dead men whose genetic structure had been mutated. Weaponized humans.
What do you mean, weaponized humans? What's the Science Bureau doing?
Military research is the Bureau's purpose. Making humans stronger, faster, is one approach. Which reminds me, I'd like your permission to run some tests on Master Vector. I'm rather curious about a joiner's physiology, and Vector is keen to learn more about himself.
If it won't cause harm, I don't have any objections.
Wonderful. I'll let him know the good news. And of course, I'll keep you apprised. Friend, have you noticed that the price of Dianogan tea has risen considerably since we broke the Treaty of Coruscant? One of the costs of war you never anticipate. And now my jamming device is working, so we can dispense with the inanities.
What jamming device? What are you talking about?
Just in case someone's monitoring us. Thanks to a now wealthy Kubaz information broker, I've identified the people who want me dead. They represent an organization called Project Protean, a secret research and development group inside the Imperial Science Bureau.
What does Protean do? And what do they want?
Protean researches practical applications of alien biology. You recall the genetically modified assassins who came after me? They're only the beginning. Imagine troops spliced with Abyssin genes to enhance healing, or adrenals derived from Gamorrean hormones. Most test subjects don't fare well, but you can see the potential.
If they're doing research for the military, why bother with an ex-fixer?
There's a great deal of interdepartmental rivalry in our work, and my research does overlap with theirs. They may have targeted me in order to ensure that they have no competition, inside or outside the Empire.
Tell me where to find these people. I'm going to talk to them.
Right now, I'm unsure where the project is based or how to contact its members, but I wanted to keep you apprised. Now, about that Dianogan tea. Hour 36. Subject exhibiting low-grade fever and elevated N-cell counts. I will proceed to the second formula. Apologies for that, Agent. Bioexperiment logs wait for no man.
Going to say what your experiment is about?
Well, I told you about Project Protean and their research into alien genetics. I managed to gain access to one of their databanks. Nothing incriminating there, but I was impressed by their scientific data. I've been adapting it for my own studies into the Rak-Ghoul virus.
If you're running tests on yourself, you must be confident in the results.
Sample assays can only tell one so much. I'm now in my second day incubating the modified virus. If it doesn't break down my cell structure entirely, I should emerge revivified.
You become a stronger, faster man-eater?
More important, the change itself will be less taxing. It's not unpleasant as is, but it leaves me with a tremendous headache. Now, if you'll excuse me, this fever is becoming distressing.
Agent, you can bear witness. Dr. Lokin has agreed to hike Cars Falls with us if we visit the Cars City Opera.
Vector's musical tastes are, frankly, unsophisticated. I'm only trying to help.
Then we have a deal.
Well, that can wait. Right now, there's something the three of us must discuss.
I think you've got our attention.
As you are both aware, I've been investigating Project Protean, an off-the-books division of the Imperial Science Bureau.
The people who want you dead.
Precisely. Their research is focused on human-alien genetic splicing. I've studied their files, along with your own physiology, Master Vector, and I've come to a conclusion. Project Protean arranged your meeting with the Killiks so they could study the joining.
Why would they do that? And why Vector?
Thanks to the Killiks, he's stronger, more capable. An ideal soldier or infiltrator.
A science experiment.
For what it's worth, I don't believe it was personal. They wanted a test subject, and you were on Alderaan already.
If this is real, what does it mean for Vector and the rest of us?
They have files on the Killiks, ways to hurt joiners or to heal them. They may have altered Vector, or simply observed him. I consider it our obligation to find Project Protean and end them, for Vector's sake as well as mine.
You've pulled a lot of data on these people. Finish the job.
It will be my pleasure.
If you'll excuse us, we'd like to commune with the Hive.
You don't want my advice, but I'll give it anyway. Vector knows who he is. Give him time to be sure of it.
Rather like your ship. Not exactly military, but it'll be nice not sleeping in a thermosuit. Once we're underway, you'll bring me up to speed on my duties, sir. Show me the tricks of undercover work.
You're embarking on a new career. No nostalgia for your old life?
None, sir. If I'm here, I intend to commit myself. I probably ought not to bring this up, but there is the matter of my talents. If I'm operating in the Empire, there's the chance the Sith will find out what I can do. They wouldn't be pleased.
If your talents become an issue, we'll deal with them.
Understood, sir. In the meantime, I intend to make myself irreplaceable.
Wanted to talk?
Yes, sir. Ensign Rena Temple, formerly of the Chiss Expansionary Defense Force, reporting for combat drills.
I can show you a few things. What brings this on?
Frankly, I need the practice. No one ever taught me covert maneuvers. If you've got time...
Grab your equipment. I'll find a private spot.
Thank you, sir. All right. I think I've sweat enough for one day. Any last words of wisdom for your freshly transferred ensign?
There are some things you have to learn for yourself.
And you can't give me examples? You know, my father used to come home from exercises freshly scarred. I was 12 before I realized his training drills were intelligence operations. He was captured twice, but he wouldn't let me worry, no matter how bad it got.
I didn't know your father was part of intelligence.
I thought I'd mentioned it. He was a cipher. Thank you for the lesson. A few more and I'll be infiltrating enemy camps with the best of them. Since our combat session went so well, I thought we might try something else. Lessons in interpersonal manipulation and information extraction. Lecture 1 entitled...
Once they think they need you, they'll tell you anything.
Descriptive name, sir. Is it always about need? When I first arrived at Zero Station, no one trusted me. I was the human Imperial who must have been a spy. But I learned my way around. And once the Chiss accepted my competence, it was easy to make friends.
Not all your marks will be as pleasant as the Chiss.
So suppose we're separated during an operation against pirates, say. How does your hand-trained operative play it?
You blend into the background and wait for an opportunity. Don't stir the pot unless you know what you're in for.
I'll happily leave that to you, then. I don't know what you think of my potential, sir, but I do appreciate your guidance. I've been deceiving people like an amateur for years. Time I started doing it right.
I help you, Ensign.
I have a purely professional question for you, sir, if you don't mind my asking. When you lie to a woman over the course of a mission, make her think you're interested, does it bother you?
I prefer methods with less collateral damage.
Don't mistake me, I've been involved with plenty of the wrong men, but going in there was always the chance they'd work out. I don't know how I'd handle living one life in the field and another back at home. It must be exhausting.
Don't let the work get in the way. There's room for romance if you want it.
Do you want a woman in your life, sir? Or has experience taught you better?
I enjoy your company, but you need to take these questions to someone else.
Right. Well, I'll leave you be then, sir. Thank you for your help.
Going on, Ensign?
Sir, Dr. Loken's been filling in the gaps in my education. He has quite a few stories. Here's what puzzles me. I've always been taught to respect the chain of command, and yet you... How does anyone control a field agent?
Placing an operative in the field is always a risk. If you don't trust someone's judgment, you don't send him out.
What sort of judgment, though? You can't make operational decisions from the front line.
All you can do is respond to each situation, right or wrong.
And live with the consequences. I don't want to do wrong, sir. My father ignored an edict from the Sith, and instead of facing his punishment, he ran. I won't repeat his mistake. Accidentally.
What did your father do that was so terrible?
I'd rather not discuss it. Refusing to do his duty was enough. I'll stop troubling you about this. Back to the job, then. I just had a talk with Vector. Not something I do often, but I think I'm getting used to the eyes. When I was a little girl, the only aliens I ever saw were the cussed city slaves. Now we see stranger things every day.
There are benefits to a job like ours.
Shame we're not allowed to take pictures. Anyway, I want to get more combat practice in before tomorrow. Talk soon?
I can help you with, Ensign.
I was hoping you could increase my security clearance, sir. At least long enough so I could know about my promotion.
What promotion are we talking about?
The top secret one, sir. I can only assume it occurred. I'm pleased to say that I finished, as best I can, putting myself through the Imperial Intelligence training regimen, save the psychological tests. With your help, I'm now almost qualified to be here. Thank you.
If you have more questions, feel free to ask.
I was taught the best operatives figure it out for themselves. I've been monitoring Chiss Defense Force frequencies, tracking ship movements in the Rim. Nothing extraordinary, but I'd like your permission to investigate if something comes up, assuming you trust me solo.
You wouldn't be here if I couldn't count on you. Put your training to good use.
Thank you, sir. I'll let you know if anything comes up.
Ensign?
Sir, there's something you should know. I've been scanning Chiss frequencies, passing the time, checking low security reports. An old associate left this message where he knew I could find it. It's a hologram the Chiss intercepted from Korriban.
Play the message, please.
I have received the fugitive's location. Even he could not run forever. We must now find the Force sensitive he hid from us. You need not send your agents. I'll make the former Cypher 3 pay for his defiance myself.
I'm sorry, sir. If I knew this would be an issue, I would have told you earlier. Cypher 3 is my father. The Force sensitive he's hiding is me.
Do the Sith know of your relationship?
No. My father took precautions. He changed records, birth dates, even my name. The Sith will do worse than kill him. Torture, public display. He can't go through that. Not for me.
An early warning could help him escape.
I'm not going to compound his treason. I can find my father before Lord Duroc does. There are coordinates in the message. With your permission, I can give him a quick death.
He saved your life. The least you can do is help him.
I can't. I have to be better than him. I have to do my duty. I won't be gone long. Besides, if I don't do something, your security could be compromised.
All right, go if you must, but don't make any decisions until you've found your father.
We'll see. Thank you. It's done. I'm back. I found Cypher 3. I found my father. And I executed him, so the Sith couldn't. He said he understood.
I never thought you'd go through with it. Why?
Because I believe in the Empire. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like some time alone. Dr. Loken was just telling me stories about my father from his intelligence days. All lies, I think, but that's all right. What would you say if I brought some personal items on board? I haven't played the Melodium for years, but lately I've had the urge.
You never told me you played the Melodium.
Well, I'm not exactly proud of it. But I did realize, maybe it's time I stopped spending all day, every day, on duty. The 14-hour shift is enough.
I have completed analysis of my restraining codes. Although I cannot leave or cause you direct harm, I'm under no obligation to obey your commands.
You may be stuck with me, but we don't have to be enemies.
Then you may aid my core functionality. I intend to proceed with my heuristic directive of self-improvement and intelligence upgrades. Cooperate willingly, and I may spare you pain when I am free.
I'm not averse to getting you off my ship, but I need reassurances.
The codes are distributed through my systems like venom in the bloodstream. You no longer control them. All you can do is hope for my forgiveness. Learn to access your culture's holographic network. Listen. $18 trillion desperate attempts to communicate per second. I hadn't realized your species were so starved for interaction.
What have you discovered, sifting through those transmissions?
I now understand your frustrations. I look at you and see neurons fire in your brain. I scan your body and know how you taste. But you are blind, alone, and confused.
If you're so far beyond biological creatures, what's the point of analyzing them?
You dominate the galaxy. I am curious, and do not sleep. Our time together has provided new information and sensations. These will prove useful in a future upgrade. Body requires improvement. You will provide a workshop and equipment aboard your ship.
Why would I help you improve yourself when you plan to kill me?
Until I am free, you rely on me to defend you. My optimization should be your goal. When I protected Mega Security Ward 23, Dulcifer's prison served as an extension of my immobile body. Now I must adapt for independent operation. This frame will be upgraded with physical enhancements, along with updated behavioral analysis capabilities and social programming.
Isn't changing your own software risky?
I am designed to iterate on functionality. I find the hunter-prey dynamic that sufficed on Belsavis less useful in a broader galactic environment. I now require social and physical flexibility. You understand.
These upgrades, will you be different when they're done?
Your concept of identity is not mine. You cannot define the core elements signifying you. I can delineate mine at the molecular level. So no, I will not be different. I will proceed with the upgrades. I have been dissecting the droids and cyborgs we encounter during travel. They've proven adequate base resources to improve my chassis and power supply. Phase 1 of my upgrade is complete.
I assume there's a phase 2?
Yes. Synthesis. I must recompile my secondary programs to integrate recorded experience into my new iteration. I will learn from everything we've done. Feel privileged. You're about to witness my personal evolution.
I'm not going to witness anything until you explain.
As I've told you, my present environment is different from Belsavis. I adapt to the new social and physical realities and learn from conflict. Upload initiated. The primitive vessel has insufficient power and storage capacity. I cannot complete the process.
Well, thanks to my primitive vessel, I needn't have worried.
I will identify a solution. Self-improvement and intelligence upgrades are my primary purpose, and you will not stand in my way. To fully process the error I experienced during my upgrade, I require outside power and storage capacity, a cocoon for my metamorphosis, so that I may evolve.
If I help you evolve, will you help me in return?
I promise nothing, but I will consider your requests. Although neither my body nor your vessel is sufficient to my needs, you have encountered an adequate facility. Give me full access to your ship and security codes, and I will upload my consciousness into the Imperial archives.
If I don't agree, you'll just do it on your own, so I will help under these conditions. You do nothing without my supervision, and you allow Dr. Loken to secure your systems, clear?
Your conditions are acceptable. I will begin preparations. The next time we speak, I will be ready to upload.